This is the second video in my introduction to Roblox game development tutorial, and today we're going to add our first script. I'm going to come over here, open up Roblox Studio with this little icon, double click that, a second or two it'll open up. Sweet, there we go. And my recent experiences is a base plate with a single part in it. So if you missed the first video, it won't be hard to catch up. Just add a part. You don't even have to color it. Now scripts add behavior to your game. So if you don't have any scripts, you just have a bunch of parts sitting around doing nothing. Like this part here, sitting around doing nothing. Let's add a script to this part. So if I click on it, we see that it opens up over here in the workspace. I'm going to click this little plus sign on the part. I'm going to look for script. I have it under frequently used. If you don't, you can do the search object, SCRI. There we go. Script, just the regular script right here. Now this script is going to play on server startup, including the startup in our Roblox Studio when we hit that little blue button. What's it going to do? It is going to print this message to the output window. This is just given to you by Roblox by default to get you started. Print statements are really good for troubleshooting, so you should keep them in mind. Let's take a look at the output window, or else we're not going to see anything, right? Go to this window right here, and then I'm going to hit output. Cool, we got a little window. This window can move around. If you just hold down the left mouse button, you can move it to different locations. Like I'm going to dock it over here. You could do that with these windows too. Let's move it back. Just find a place where you like. I'm going to put it right here. Cool. Let's hit the play button. Here's our little message. Hello world. Here is where it ran from. You have server and you have client or local script. This ran on the server. This is the name of the script, where you can now see that we're going to have to start naming our script something different, because if we have 100 scripts that say script, you're not going to know where the message came from. And here's the line number. But you will kind of know where the message came from because you can click on it and it takes you to the script and the line number. That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and turn our game off. And then I'm going to close this output window. I'm going to add something to our script. Now this script is going to make my part invisible. This part right here. Where is it in the workspace? Let's go to my first game. That, right? That part has the script on it. Or the script is the child of that part. And also the part is the parent of that script. So you should get used to that naming convention too, the child and the parent. All right, on this script, I'm going to click here, and I'm going to change the name of this script to invisible. Because now I kind of know what that script's going to do, right, by seeing the name. Now let's open up our invisible script again. Well, it is open, right? You can hit this tab right here, or you could double click on this invisible. I'm going to get rid of this print statement. We don't need it. I'm going to get a variable for my part, right? So I'm going to say local. That is called a scope modifier. It means this variable is going to be used only in this script, right? You don't have to understand it that much. It just put it there, right? I'm going to call this part. I made it a lowercase p. That matters in Lua. I'm going to say this is equal to script. That's a special word saying this thing right here, dot parent. Well, what's the parent of my script? Ah, that part right there. That's cool. Now, remember, the script runs on server startup, but it takes us a couple seconds to get into the game. So I think I'm going to wait for a second. And the way I do that is I'm going to do this task.wait. And actually not a second. I think I'm going to wait 5 seconds, right? And then we're going to see something happen after 5 seconds. Well, let's use another print statement. Let's say print now, right? And now we can do our invisibility stuff. When we see that now, we're going to know how long it's going to take. Well, it's going to take 5 seconds, but we're going to be able to see it. Ooh, output window. Cool. Wait for it. Now. All right. And that is on the invisible script, line 4. Cool. Let's go ahead and turn that off. I'm going to shut down my output window so I have more space. Now on my part, I have, let's go back to my first game. Click on this, a cool property called transparency. And I know this is kind of tiny over here, but just scroll around here. Got to go down a little bit, not much. Look for transparency, and it's set to 0. 0 means there is no transparency, or it's opaque. If I change this to 1, now, and I click somewhere else, you can't see that part, right? You can't see it. I can hover over it and get it. Let's click on it again. Let's make that transparency 0.5. And then let's get really close to it. Whoops, too close. Oh, hit the E key, and then maybe E key again. Hit the W, get kind of close. Cool, we could see through it. It's like 50% transparent. That's awesome. All right, we could do this with code, right? Because you can't keep changing this as the players are playing the game. You have to do this in a script or with code, right? So I'm going to just default this to 0. I'm going to open up my invisible script. Cool. And we have our part, right? That's a pointer to our part in the game. I'm going to say dot transparency, and it's 0. Let's make it like 0.5. How about 0.8? We haven't done that one. Let's play it. See what we got. And where's our part? There it is. Any second. Boom. I went to 0.8. And we can check our output window. Make sure there's no scary red errors down here. Cool. There's not. It's looking good. Let's make that part fade away. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to close this property window or this output window. Now this isn't going to be the most sophisticated way of making a part turn invisible, but it's a good place to start. So I have this transparency changed to 0.8, which is almost invisible, right? High transparency. I'm going to make it a 0.2 because 0 is fully opaque. 0.2 is 20% opaque, 20% solid, visibly solid. Let's do a task.wait, right? And let's do like 0.2 seconds for that. I'm going to copy these 2 lines. Now I could right click and I can hit copy, right? And then I can come down here. I can right click again, hit paste, but you'll also notice we have a control C and a control V here. It's a little different on Macs, but just look to see what it says on the Mac. There we go. We did our paste. And now this, I'm going to make a 40% transparent. I think you guys get the idea, right? And I still have that copy in my buffer. So if I do a control V here, I get another one. Let's make a 0.6. Another control V. Let's make a 0.8. Another control V. Let's make this 1. That is fully transparent. It's invisible. Let's hit play. Output window. Look for mistakes. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's our thing. Oh, and it disappeared. It's still in the game. Like, we can still step on it, right? Oh, you see that? We're up there. Cool, but it is invisible. I thought this would be pretty cool. I will see you in the next video, and we'll do some more cool stuff.